Chapter 1 Gyronus Japonicus Gambling. The best time for earning money during such games is surely in the evening rather than in the morning. It seems the kids feel more at ease on their way back from school than when heading there. In the morning, they just took a quick, indifferent glance as they passed by, but on their way home, they settled down as if they had all the time in the world. They firmly planned themselves, completely forgetting about heading home and sit around in circles. As always, he was only able to make 1,001 after 4 p.m. The Gyronus japonicus, an aquatic insect about 7 mm long, resembling a small round black bean. When attacked by predators, it hides underwater, but it usually floats on the water's surface, swimming around. This very insect, the Gyronus japonicus, forms the basis of the old man's business as a way to make money. A group of kids who had been playing together gathered more tightly. The host, old man, picked up the small milk caramel box that had been casually placed nearby and shouted, "Of course, the snacks you bought are yours to eat. But after that, here's a chance to win milk caramels, a whistle, or even a toy gun. Come on, give it a try." The tin tub with the flowery insect is divided into several small sections around each edge, each marked with a number. The same numbers, from 1 to 20, are written on a piece of paper placed nearby. The host put the milk caramel box back in its place, picked up a strainer, and scooped up a Gyronus japonicus. He guided it into a round wireframe he had made himself, bent into a circle, and hung above the middle of the tin tub. The Gyronus japonicus dropped through the circle onto the water, wiggled around, and finally moved into the section marked with the number 4. Now, did you see that? If you buy snacks, you get a light bet like this. So, if you had already bet on 4, this would be your winning round, and you'd get this delicious milk caramel too. Alright, who wants to give it a try? He cast a sly glance over the kids. One of them, unable to resist the temptation, began hesitantly fiddling with something in his pocket. After a moment, he started forward, crouched by the bucket with his school bag still on his back, and pulled out a 10-1 coin. The old man pulled the 10-1 coin closer to his knees, slipped his hand into the paper bag, and took something out. "Here, take it. I'll give you the snacks first." With that, he handed the boy 3 tiny, sharp spiked, multicolored snacks, each barely the size of a bean. The boy took the snacks and popped one into his mouth before placing the milk caramel pack on number 8. Then he picked up the strainer, lifted the Gyrannus japonicus, and placed it inside the circle. The Gyrannus japonicus that fell onto the water sank for a moment before floating back up, each antenna twitching and its back legs squirming. Each time each antenna moved close to number 8, the boy's heart beat faster. He felt a quiet tension building inside him. However, it was all in vain. The Gyrannus japonicus ended up going into the 7th slot. The boy, seemingly annoyed, pulled out another 10-won coin and bet on number 7 this time. But this time, the Gyrannus japonicus went into number 8. No matter how many times he tried, the insect never went into the number leading to the milk caramel. After losing even a single 10-won coin 10 times, amounting to a total of 101, the boy, his face turning red as if he'd run out of money, steps back. The old man, perhaps feeling a little sorry, says, "Even if you didn't win once, there's no loss, right? After all, the money you paid was just for the snacks. Now, who's next?" He then glanced around at the children once more. "Me!" Another child stepped forward. However, and this time too, the Gyrannus japonicus refused to land on the number pointing to the milk caramel. He managed to get it right only once, even after losing all 3 101 bills. "You sneaky little rascal!" Frustrated, the boy cursed at the Gyrannus japonicus and pulled out another 101 bill. This time, determined to win no matter what, he chose numbers covering half of the 20. He bet the entire 101 bill on this single game. And then, he carefully placed the Gyrannus japonicus into the water. At that moment, not only the boy himself, but all the children gathered around held their breath in suspense. Every time the Gyrannus japonicus swarmed near the chosen number and hurried close to it, their hearts leapt in surprise. However, once again, the Gyrannus japonicus merely circled around the chosen number several times, as if it was about to go in, only to eventually push its antenna into a hole that wasn't bet on, and settled there with a flap. The boy placed this final bet. He had no money left to spare. With a gloomy expression, he stood up. "That darn insect! It's strange how it just won't come this way today." The old man, feeling sorry for the boy who lost so much money, said this as a way to console him. However, the boy, overwhelmed with emotion, raised the back of his hand to his eyes. The old man's heart wasn't at ease either. It wasn't the first time the old man had seen a child lose money gambling and walk away in tears. It was something that happened often, with one or two children showing up almost every day, and each time the old man couldn't help but despise his own job. His hair had turned almost completely white with age, making it hard to find a trace of black. Yet, here he was, setting up a Jonas Japonicos gambling game to take the pocket money of young students, children young enough to be his grandchildren, only to send them off in tears. It was certainly not an honorable way to make a living. He couldn't help but think, why, of all possible jobs, did he have to make a living by doing something like this? In fact, he had a son who was an elementary school student. Instead of guiding children onto the right path and teaching them, he was deceiving them and taking advantage of them. The more he thought about it, the more ashamed he felt on his age. I'd rather go hungry than keep doing this. Thoughts crossed his mind. But then, really? Are you really going to stop? When he asked himself that, his courage would falter. He had tried roasting chestnuts, baking sweet potatoes, steaming bread, and even selling cigarettes. But nothing worked out. So while searching for various things to do, he couldn't help but attempt even this kind of gambling as a job. As he came to realize that this gambling could actually provide enough to secure even a few bowls of rice, the old man found it difficult to quit. The 2001 owed for the school building fund, which had been unpaid for a long time, was finally sent this morning. It was money earned over the past few days since this gambling started. Faced with reality, he felt that keeping composed was the only way to survive. Stay composed. I just need to stay resolute. Suppressing the guilt that unconsciously rose within him for the boy, the old man quickly steeled his resolve once again, as if it didn't matter whether the boy cried and went home after losing his money. He reluctantly turned his gaze away from the boy and backed to the tin tub. Clearing his throat, as if to steel his resolve, he let out a foam, and called out, "Now, who's next? A fun game where you get your 10 ones worth of snacks and still have a chance to win a pack of milk caramels worth 100 won for free. Who's next?" To stir their interest, he picked up the Jonas Japonicus and placed it back into the circle. However, the children now only stand silently, just looking at each other, with none of them stepping forward. It seems their pockets are empty. There's no point in shouting with dealing with children whose pockets are empty. Nothing is going to come of it. The day is ending. The sun's shadow has almost disappeared from the ground. The school kids had all scattered to their own places by now, and were barely visible. Even if the old man kept things set up and just stayed there, only the occasional passerby, like a porter heading home, or some kids merely watching without joining, might get caught. After trying to draw in a few more kids a couple of times, the old man finally packed up his things and stood up. Chapter 2. Choi down. At home, his wife and the eldest member of the family, the old man's father, were waiting for their youngest child, who still hadn't returned from school. The old man had a late-born child who was still in elementary school. The youngest child was already late, coming back from school, and no one could figure out why. Even after dinner, the child had not returned home. Unable to wait any longer, the old man went to the school to ask about him. The night duty teacher said the children had left a long time ago, and asked what grade the boy was in. When the old man replied that he was in the second grade, the teacher said, "Cheongdong? The boy was absent today." A vague but ominous feeling flashed through the old man's mind suddenly. The storage car came into view. A car began to appear shortly after. "Are you absolutely sure you didn't come to school today?" Feeling uneasy, the old man asked once again, but the teacher replied, "I'm the homeroom teacher for Cheongdong's class, so I know very well whether he comes to school or not. You see, he's never missed a single day before, and today is the first time he's been absent, which I also found strange. So did he leave home this morning saying he was going to school? Didn't he?" Hearing the teacher's reply, which accurately detailed Yongdong's usual attendance, there was no doubt that Yongdong had not come to school that day. Where could he have gone? Where could he have gone that he wouldn't return home all day? Could it be the tram or the car? No, surely not. Could it be related to the 2001 he took for the school building fund this morning? Could something have happened? With this uncertain thought weighing on him, the old man returned, his eyes wide with worry. It was late into the night, hearing murmuring sounds outside the door. He looked out and saw Mr. Guan, the chestnut bender, coming, and with Yong. Why? Why are you just coming home now? Mr. Guan, how did you end up? The old man, overjoyed to see his youngest returning, stepped out to greet him. Well, Young, you'd better head inside now. But sir, please don't scold Young too harshly. Kids can be thoughtless at times, so please don't take it too seriously. Now, go on inside. With that, Mr. Guan gently pushed the youngest one forward. There was a legend after all. The old man was deeply concerned about what that legend might be. Why? Where have you been? And now did Mr. Guan end up bringing you back so late at night? No, wait. Where did Mr. Guan even find you? With that, the old man quickly stepped forward toward Yongdong, filled with relief and curiosity. Oh, no, that's not quite it. You see, it seems Yongdong on his way to school this morning stopped by the far end of the street and got caught up in some gyrus Japonicus gambling. So he lost his money, skipped school, and ended up at my place with my son, playing all day. After having him at dinner, I told him it'd be best to head home, but he said he was too afraid of getting scolded by his father to go back, and I brought him here myself. It was the adults who let kids gamble with Gyrus Japonicus at fault. How could thoughtless children possibly know any better? Now, go inside and get some sleep. The old man didn't have the courage to ask any more questions. He felt too ashamed to face Mr. Guan and couldn't lift his head. Please go inside and get some sleep, sir. The moon is so bright tonight. It feels even brighter with the electric light. The old man simply stared blankly at Mr. Guan as he turned to leave, unable to find any words to say goodbye. The old father and his young child stood silently in the yard, motionless. Only the flowing moonlight gently embraced them.